Hello, welcome back to I Create For You. It is Friday and I'm going to be doing a story in the Haunted Hamburg Ghost Stories book. And like I said before, I'm not able to hobble out there, but I will find some stories in here or refer to another book. I have one and here we go. We stray from the streets of Hamburg for our next story and venture into the gently rolling landscape of Tilden Township, where, in a relatively new home along Walnut Road just off the Hex Highway, we spoke with an individual whose entire family experienced a disconcerting brush with an entity that seemed to be part poltergeist and part apparition. In the middle of the night, I heard something, the young woman told us. So my husband got up to see what was going on. It came from out in the kitchen. It sounded like pots and pans were banging. My husband proceeded to walk through our hallway, and the whole living room area was all lit up. All the drapes were closed. There were no cars. We live out in the country, and there was no full moon. Nothing that could have made that light. But the whole living room was lit up with a white fog. At that point in the interview, it became obvious that the experience was still difficult to rationalize and relate. She paused nervously, rubbed goosebumps from her arms, and continued. As he walked through the hallway, he felt a chill come over his body. He went out, looked all around, and didn't see anything, but when he walked through the living room, he felt a chill. For some reason, he just shrugged it off and decided to go back to bed. As he walked through the hallway, he had more chills. What could have been a simple situation, something perhaps easily explained, took on a new dimension the day after the husband and wife had their perplexing night of rattling kitchenware and roving fog. The next morning, she continued, my husband went to work. He didn't talk to my daughter at any point early in the day. But that afternoon, my daughter got off of the school bus, and the first thing she said to me was, Mom, something really weird happened last night. The girl told her mother that for whatever reason, she had awakened in the middle of the night, sat up in her bed, and as she told her astounded parents, her bedroom was filled with a glowing fog. Each member of the family has tried in vain to explain the phenomenon. It has happened only one time, but has left an indelible mark on their memories. They do not fear that evil spirits dwell in their house. It's a comfortable home, even if the resident cats occasionally attack. Unseen critters and random noises are often heard there. The home was built in the early 1900s on what its owners were told was an old picnic grounds. And then there is the local lore spread by the old-timers in that area that long before that picnic ground was there, something else occupied that site. They say, and there is some historical evidence to substantiate it, that the land upon which the home was constructed was once the site of an Indian burial ground. If that is true, of course, that might explain a lot. Wow, that's the first time I ever heard that story. I don't know, they didn't give an address, so I knew I wouldn't be able to go out to this house in particular. The Tilden Township area is like maybe 5 minutes away from us. But like I said, it doesn't give any exact address. Maybe the people just didn't want to be bothered with people coming out looking at their house like we would be doing if I had the address. So I'm going to do something Indian related or Native American related for this one. Well, I hope everybody has having a great start to their weekend. So far. Oh my goodness. I'm finally going to get to venture out since my last outing was to the urgent care, so I'll finally be able to go out and about tonight. We have to go to the auction hall tonight, auction place tonight, and then I'm going to also going there tomorrow. So yeah, there are a few things we wanted to bid on, and I didn't want to really try to fight the crowd on a Saturday. So I wanted to go and get another bid in on some of the items, and then maybe from there I'll be able to tomorrow navigate my way through, because I'm going to try to take a notebook and mark where everything is that I was looking at. And so there's some art supplies that are there that I'd like to bid on. So hopefully I'll be able to get them, because I don't plan on going too many places for a while. And I've had no luck today. I mean, like, I'm having health insurance problems, so most everything that we are paying for, we pay out of pocket. So yeah, that can get kind of pricey, and then I have to go and mess up my foot on top of that. So like I was not having a good day on the telephone with people. I had a prescription that I was taking, and it wasn't being covered under Mark's insurance from work. So I was kind of upset about that, because he was getting $800. It was like $400 a week taken out of his freaking. It was like almost $800. Let me just say straight out, it was almost like $800 a month taken out for this insurance, and one medication that I really needed, they didn't cover. So I have been trying for a month or so now, trying to get other coverage, and I've been trying to get a hold of we had like an agent, a health insurance agent, to help us try to find some insurance that was reasonable, that would cover my prescription. And I had been trying to get a hold of him because I was supposed to start this insurance around the 1st of July, but he was not answering my calls or texts. I would not get a call back and everything. And so today I give it another go, because I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I can enroll in something August 1st at least. I'll give him another try. And so this person answers the phone, and I'm like, is Logan there? And they go, no, he's no longer with us, so I am taking his place. So in my mind, I was a little right there. I try to avoid confrontation. But in my mind, like, if you have a business, one of your employees is no longer with you, but you knew they had clients, would you not follow up with that client and let them know the circumstances? Say, we're sorry to say Logan's no longer with us. We have a new agent who will be taking over his position. None of that. I got none of that, right? And this guy was a real peach, let me tell you. So when I was telling him what was going on, and because I am not going to go to a foot specialist, if I have to pay out of pocket, we'll never be able to afford that. And, I know they like take payments and stuff like that, but I just, I would rather it be covered under insurance. Anyway, so I need to make this appointment to get my foot looked at. and I'm like trying to get this agent to help me, and he's telling me, well, now this year past this time to enroll here and enroll there. And I said, well, my other agent told me that we could have started July 1st, and I was hoping that since I had no contact with you guys at all, and I not knowing that Logan was no longer available and no one got back to me, that maybe I would have a chance of enrolling in August 1st. Well, he said, well, let me find out what's going on here better. Can you explain your situation? I'm like, oh boy, this is not going how I like it at all. So he says, I said to him, well, Logan was helping me, and he did find an insurance that I could apply to that takes this certain prescription that I need. I said, he says, first of all, he says, so you're single with no dependents, right? And I went, no, I'm married. And he goes, so why aren't you on your husband's insurance? Real cocky like. I'm like, wow. Yeah, just throw it out there, buddy. And I said, well, because the insurance that my husband had would not cover a prescription I need. And I'm not paying $1,000 a month out of pocket for a prescription that I need. And then he's like, well, that's funny that that your insurance doesn't cover that. I said, yeah, it is kind of funny, but some insurance places are like that. I said his former employer did cover it, but when he got this new job, it doesn't cover it. Oh, okay. Well, I said, and I know that Logan was getting us to go into Penny. That's a health coverage here in Pennsylvania. Well, he says, well, how about this? We'll just do a 3-way call with Penny and see if you're able to get enrolled. We'll just do a 3-way call that way. And I said, okay. So he calls them. We get put on hold. We're not even on hold no 5 minutes. And he said, it comes on and he goes, well, you know what? I'm just going to give you the phone number to Penny, and you can call them, because if we stay on here, we're going to be on here forever. And I'm like dumbfounded. I'm thinking, wow, buddy, you're really not good for this company. So he gives me the phone number, and lo and behold, I'm talking to him, but I'm not getting an answer. And then all of a sudden, this like some kind of recording comes on and says, I do not understand your question. And I'm like, what the heck? I said, hello? I said, are you there? And then, you will have to hit such and such and such. And it was going on and on about what numbers I need to press on the, and I'm like, what the heck did he do? So he actually gave me the number, got off the 3-way call, and left me hanging. So I'm thinking, I just got so disgusted. I'm like, I wanted to call back and ask for a supervisor or somebody and let them know how I was treated, and that I know that it's not my fault that I did not get to enroll in my coverage, because I did not know that Logan was no longer with them. So yeah, that was my Friday afternoon experience. I hope no one else ever has to go through stuff like that. So now here I am waiting, and I'm probably not going to get anywhere with anybody else, But I'm going to Monday go full throttle with on my hunt for insurance so that I can get seen by, actually, I didn't even realize this, but on my paperwork it says I have to go see an orthopedic surgeon. So now that just bothers the heck out of me, because she didn't really say anything about me needing surgery. She just said she was going to refer me to an orthopedic specialist. And I just thinking to myself, man, you know, like, people don't even communicate anymore. What the heck? So yeah, that's the gist of my freaking Friday, happy Friday. You know, and I try to stay positive, but sometimes crap just builds up, and I do absolutely nothing to deserve it. I'm not thinking, and I was having such a good day otherwise, but then when that came about, I was like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. I cannot believe this is happening. But it is. So, yep, so that's and it's going to continue next week. And, you know, Mondays are always so peachy to begin with. So that's going to be a whole other fun day. Monday fun day. Just another manic Monday, right? Sorry, this looks kind of raggedy, doesn't it? I know I can do feathers a lot better than this. Must be my my mindset at this point, because it wasn't long ago that I was on the phone with this guy, and I just like, buddy, yeah, you, I just could not believe it. And he was like, he sounded, when he first answered the phone, he sounded like he was irritated that someone was calling. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Not much you can do. So yep, that's the extent of my, and it gives me really a whole lot to look forward to, doesn't it? So I'm going to try to have a better rest of my Friday. Not much left to it. I mean, it's 4 o'clock here, 4 p.m., but still, I'm just going to have one of those turnarounds where I'm going to try to be positive no matter what. I'm not going to let it beat me down, even though it sometimes does. And sometimes get in that rut. Got me into that mindset of negativity for about 15 minutes. And then I just was like, buddy, have a day that you deserve. That's all I can say. That's just the way I feel anymore. That's just my opinion. Just like if somebody leaves me a nasty comment, which I haven't gotten yet, that's what I'm going to say. Just have the day. Thank you for commenting. Have the day that you deserve. And leave it to the universe. Leave it to the universe to do something with that. So here is my Indian spirit. Since that was documented to have been built, the house had been built on a possible, well, I shouldn't say possible, it said that it was documented that it was on a Indian burial ground. So there is my Indian spirit. And thank you so much for listening to me ramble on about my troubles. Even though, you know, it's not your fault and I just rambled. But that's what I get for asking you guys, how was your Friday? And then roll right into how mine was. Like I said, I hope you guys have a better weekend. I hope you guys have had a better Friday than I did. And I'm pretty sure you did. But we all come out we all come out on top one way or another. You know, there's only one way to go but up, and that's where we're gonna head. Head up, positivity, make it through the weekend, start again on Monday, clean slate, get things done. Right? Right. In the meantime, please give me a thumbs up if you like the story and the sketch. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you have, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay creative, stay a little creepy, stay colorful, and stay true to yourself, and stay kind. It matters to you, and it matters to everyone. We all could use a little kindness, right? And with all that being said, I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.